Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. A lovely beautiful day here in Western Australia. Thank you for joining me. So today's video is going to be all about what the struggles have been a year on living in Australia. So if something interests you, stick around, let's find out. So obviously moving to the other side of the world is going to come with its challenges, and one of the biggest challenges that we have found is the isolation, the loneliness that you can feel when being so far away. And that's for a few reasons. Yeah, we've made some great friends here and made a good circle of friends, but there's nothing like those friendships that you built when you were back in the UK, and you know, you've had them from a childhood basically, is what I'm trying to say. And you do start to miss those people more than you probably know. Especially for my partner. She's had a friend that's had a baby and she is really missing her like mad. That's something that she's finding very difficult to deal with. Someone that was there for her when she was, you know, with our babies. So she had twins and she was always there for her and always helped her when she needed it. And I think her friend is obviously having a tough time, and she feels a bit guilty because she can't be there for her. And even for myself, I struggle a little bit. I was very close to my sisters and my mum, and yeah, basically from seeing them at least once or twice a week back in the UK to not seeing them for over a year, yeah, it's difficult. But I guess it's something I'll just have to get used to, right? Another thing that I sort of struggle with a little bit is you got used to going to certain restaurants, certain establishments, and you really enjoyed those places. So being somewhere completely different and literally not having any of those options is quite challenging. And yes, I can get some of those options if I go to Perth, but that's a 3.5 hour drive for me. So yeah. I do have to mention is the cost of living. Now, when I moved here, I got told by a lot of people that Australia is really expensive, and yeah, your wages might be double, but everything's so much more expensive. But I've actually found that not to be the case. Yes, wages are double, which is great, and most things seem to be relatively the same, and most things actually work out cheaper. Now, I did a rough estimation of the cost of living in a 3-bedroom house in the UK in Essex, where I used to live. So I did a rough estimation of living in a 3-bedroom house in Essex with all the bills, food, utilities, the lot, compared to a 4-bedroom house living semi-rural like where I am now in Australia, and the difference was astronomical, and I'll tell you about that at the end of the video. Now, don't get me wrong, the cost of living has gone up wherever you live in the world. No one's immune from it. However, compared to the UK, you definitely got it better here in Australia. And let me explain. Hello. There are so many little things that make a difference. For example, if you're a renter here in Australia, you don't have to pay council tax, or in the UK, sorry, in Australia, it would be shire tax. So that's always. Also, little things like the gas bottles that you rent, you sort of hire, that's down to the landlord as well to sort that out. So yeah, little savings, but it all makes the difference. One of the biggest culture shocks for me moving to Australia was people's attitudes. And what do I mean by that? So in the UK, it's quite usual for you to sort of go on a train or a bus and not really look at anyone, let alone talk to anyone. Here in Australia, even when I've been in the city in Perth, people just seem to be generally more friendly and more willing to talk to each other. And I think that's a problem. that you get in these cities that are very overcrowded. People are just scared to talk to other people, in danger of their bloody lives. And you can see the reflection of that in the crime statistics. One of my favourite culture shocks, I guess, moving to Australia, it's just the fact that it's so normal to just have a 4x4, drive along the beach, have a barbecue, do some fishing, or whatever it may be. Just literally be outdoors and enjoy your day. And that's just such a normal thing here. Even if you don't live right next to the beach, there's off-road tracks pretty much everywhere, so there's always something to do in terms of being outdoors. If you're an outdoorsy person, great. Obviously if you're not, then not so good. Now, a big culture shock for me was how much salt Aussies love on their food. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but me personally, I'm not one for salt. But yeah, the Australians do love a bit of salt on their chips, or they do like some chips on their salt, as I like to say to the guys at work. A little bit of banter we have going with that. But yeah, it does amaze me on how salty, and I guess obviously, yeah, with the heat and that, it's good to keep your salt levels topped up. But yeah, it's just something I'm not used to, and was a little bit of a shock to the system. Don't get me wrong, I like salt and vinegar on my chips, but I do also actually like to taste the chips. Here's one that might throw a few people. If you didn't know, basically most shops here, you can't really buy anything less than a factor 50 in sun cream, which is great because the UVs here are extremely high and that's what you need. But I just sort of expected there to be an option, but there's not. So yeah, expect to be putting on really thick sun cream, and so you should, because yeah, like I say, when it gets to the summer here, the UVs are extremely harsh. So yeah, you want to be protected. Maybe get a few shares in sun cream companies out here, but yeah, no, it's definitely a good idea to keep yourself topped up. So one thing that did catch me off guard, I suppose, a little bit, is Australians don't really do hot dogs. Don't get me wrong, you can go to like a restaurant and get a hot dog or whatever, but if you're having a barbecue, it's a sausage snack. Basically a bit of bread and a sausage. And at first I was a bit like, not too sure about that. I'm used to having a bun and a sausage. But the bread to sausage ratio works a lot better, so I see why they do it. And obviously, as a truck driver, one thing that you can never say in front of Australians is lorry. You will get ripped to shit all day long for saying lorry. Oh, lorry! Oh, do you drive a lorry, do you? So yeah, try and avoid that one if you're a truck driver. It's a truckie or a truck. Simple as that. No. Now, one thing I have found talking to some of the older POMs that live here is that a few of them don't like the word POM. They find it a little bit derogatory. And this is a very limited few, because I've only met one person that's basically said, oh, don't call us that. But yeah, me personally, I couldn't care less. You call me what you want. Call me a pig if you want. I really couldn't care less. But yeah, so just be aware that some of the older generation are not too fond of the word. But generally you'll find most people under the age of 40, I guess, couldn't really care less. So I said to you I was going to give you a breakdown of basically the difference of cost between living in the UK in a 3-bedroom house and living semi-rural in a 4-bedroom house in Australia. And basically the breakdown, when you take in all bills into consideration, so that's food, fuel, utility bills, your broadband, your phones, we worked it out. On average, we are $14,500, so half that, 7,500 or whatever it would be, pounds, better off than we was in the UK. That's how much we save a year in terms of bills. Now, some of you might think that's not a lot, but when you're on a wage in the UK of like, the average is I think like 28 to 30,000. 7 grand is a lot of money. So yeah, you definitely, you know, it's not going to be the same if you move to somewhere like Sydney or, you know, some nice suburb in Melbourne. Yeah, it'll probably be similar, if not more. I don't really know, but what I'm saying is if you're willing to make the move and go a little bit rural like I am, then it definitely can be more beneficial. All right guys, so I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for watching. Just want to say, if there is anywhere you want me to check out when I'm in Perth, any recommendations for any of the locals, things to do, see, then yeah, please let me know in the comments, because yeah, I'm going up there next weekend. I'm going to do a nice little video on it. Yeah, just tell me what you think, and yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And obviously the new little thing, hype, swap along on the comment bit, hit that hype button. It really helps the video out, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Yeah, should we go feed the turtles now?